Hello everybody, my name is Mehdi Kortnavasi and this is the second movie about the chapter 1, what is software architecture. Let's start with a question. Why is architecture important? A balance must often be found between competing requirements across these three areas. It means users, system, and business. Change in the user experience requirements can have significant impact on the business and IT infrastructure requirements. Architecture focuses on how the major elements and components within an application are used by or interact with other major elements and components within the application. The selection of data structure and algorithms or the implementation details of individual components are design concerns. Consider the following high-level concerns when thinking about software architecture. The first, how will the users be using the application? How will the application be deployed into production and managed? What are the quality attribute requirements for the application, such as security, performance, concurrency, internationalization, and configurations? How can the application be designed to be flexible and maintainable over time? And what are the architectural trends that might impact your application now or after it has been deployed?
Why enterprise architecture? Well, here's a reason. Michael works at our company. Now, because of new business demands, he is in need of specific data. But his data is spread out over different applications. Exclusively for Michael, a developer writes a program that'll get his data from applications A, B, and C and write it to an Excel file in directory Y. That way, Michael will be able to read all the data in his spreadsheet and use it. Michael then realizes that he needs this on a daily basis. It would save a lot of time if the program ran automatically every day. Therefore, an infrastructure manager writes a batch job to set this up for him. Now, an application flow has been created, especially for Michael, which depends on a number of other applications. But Michael is not the only one who wants to improve his efficiency, so multiply this situation by a few thousand. We call this hairball architecture. Think of it as a huge hairball with fibers going in every possible direction. No one's keeping track of it, and no one has control over it. Now, imagine we have to replace a huge application because it's out of date and the supplier has said that in 2 years they'll stop the support. We have no idea what the application is connected to. It's an endless network of dependencies which were all created one at a time. And each connection made sense at the time, but the total is such a chaotic situation that it's impossible to change one aspect without damaging something else. Now that's where enterprise architecture comes in. We have to deal with the IT landscape in such a way that people have the freedom to create improvements and that there's always room for innovation. Architecture makes sure that our IT landscape is robust as well as flexible and efficient. This requires a process to keep things organized. For this reason, each new project needs a project start architecture. This is created by a project architect who is part of the project team. He or she writes a plan explaining how the total landscape will look when the project is complete. This plan includes the applications we've set up, what they do for the business, and the hardware they require. The project start architecture is evaluated by the architecture board. In this board, architects from every domain in our company work together and supervise the entire landscape. Summarized, enterprise architecture is about three things. We take a look at the existing situation. We help to develop and evaluate designs, and we create a sketch for the future so that everyone understands the direction we're heading. Architecture is about insight and knowledge. The world doesn't lend itself to being easily understood or pinned down in rules. There's no way we can know what the regulators are going to say to us 3 years from now. But what we can do is make choices which will ensure that we will be flexible, robust, and efficient in the future. Because in the end, it's all about maintaining our ability to change. That's why enterprise architecture.
Okay, let's see what are the key architecture principles. Build to change instead of building to last. Consider how the application may need to change over time to address new requirements and challenges, and build in the flexibility to support this. The next is a model to analyze and reduce risk. Use design tools, modeling systems such as Unified Modeling Language or UML, and visualization where appropriate to help you capture requirements and architectural and design decisions, and to analyze their impact. However, do not formalize the model to the extent that it suppresses the capability to iterate and adapt the design easily. The next principle is identify the key engineering decisions. Use the information in this guide to understand the key engineering decisions and the areas where mistakes are most often made. Invest in getting these key decisions right the first time so that the design is more flexible and less likely to be broken by change. The next principle is consider using an incremental and iterative approach to refining your architecture. Start with a baseline architecture to get the big picture right, and then evolve candidate architectures as you iteratively test and improve your architecture. And the last one, do not try to get it all right the first time. Design just as much as you can in order to start testing the design against requirements and assumptions. Here is a modeling example as a diagram, as a common language for each party, each member of the software development team and stakeholders and project managers. We need a common language to show the architecture. At the next movie, we will see a Microsoft Visio tools to design for this purpose.
It's used to create diagrams, pictures, some things like that. So first off, we're going to start by opening up Visio. Now the first thing you're going to be starting off with is choosing your drawing type. We're getting started. Getting started just uses an old file that you've saved before, so I have drawing 1 saved. But for this purpose, we're going to create an all new drawing. So here you can choose your category. Being in the IT business, you're most likely going to do networking, web diagramming, software, or flowcharts, databases, things like that. You can see each one comes with a different template, different shapes that will be added to your shape toolbar, which we'll get into later, that you can use in order to draw. So today we're just going to do a simple networking template in the metric system. So this is what you start off looking at. You start off looking at shapes and your workplace. This is your shape toolbar. Here's just a list of all the different shapes that you have available to you when you're drawing. So you can have domains, different shapes, things like that. So to start off, we're going to do a really simple just server user diagram. So we'll start off, we'll have a server, we'll have a computer, we'll have another computer, we'll have a user, and another user. Now you notice how small it is, really no good for working with. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go View, Pan and Zoom window. Here you can zoom in on there. You can also use the magnifying glasses, zoom in, zoom out. You can change your looking reference by clicking and just moving around your mouse over top of the red square. Another way of doing this is to just go into Zoom, and just like Microsoft Word, you can choose it from here. So we're just going to leave it at that because it's a good range. Second thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to show a connection between the computers, the servers, and the users. This is really easy. This can be done just by going up here, clicking on the connector tool, clicking connector tool, and just finding the little X's on each of these shapes, just clicking, dragging, moving it to the next shape you want to connect it to. Just really simple stuff. Just do that. So now we have a really basic diagram. Another thing that you are able to do is modify the shape. So if we want the server to be a bit bigger, we can stretch it, we can pull it, and modify it that way. Also, we can go into right-click it, go into shapes, you can rotate left, rotate right, flip vertical, flip horizontal. So we're going to leave that at about that size. It's a good size. Keeps everything nice and straight, nice and tidy. Another thing that we're able to do is use the pointer tool. There's a few things in here. The area select tool is the default, but you can also use the lasso select. Now the way the lasso select works is you can just simply draw around all the shapes that you want selected, just like this. Doesn't have to be neat and tidy. And you've got them all selected. You can move them around, move them down, move them up. Really simple. Another thing is the multiple select. Now, another way of doing this is just by holding down Control and clicking everything while you're still holding down Control on your keyboard. But this basically just allows you the freedom to just click everything you want to move. Move it up, move it down, just like that. So we're going to move that back to area select. So if you have Adobe installed, you can convert it to Adobe PDF for the ease of use. Alright, so that's pretty much everything. It's easy to use, really simple stuff. If you know your Microsoft, you know your 2003, you're aware you're used to it, you're used to that whole format of doing everything. It's really easy, simple to get into, and you just go at it. It's all good.
Okay, the next principle is use models and visualizations as a communication and collaboration tool. Efficient communication of the design, the decisions you make, and ongoing change to the design is critical to good architecture. Use models, views, and other visualizations of the character architecture to communicate and share your design efficiently with all the stakeholders and to enable rapid communication of change to the design. Okay, thank you for watching this movie. In the next movie, we will discuss some more key architecture principles. Thank you.